Okay, question and answers with Durienrider. We'll get straight into it. We've got 6 questions. First question is, Paul Neeson came to talk recently in Sydney, Australia, and said that there was an idiot going around telling people to eat more than 70 bananas a day, and more than a few pieces of fruit a day is unhealthy, and so is a vegan diet. What do you think of that? I wonder who the idiot is who's going around telling people to eat up to 70 bananas a day. What do I think of that? I think Paul Neeson is a sincere guy, but he's just sincerely wrong. Even though he calls me an idiot, I think Paul's cool, and I've got to thank Paul for writing his books and actually introducing me to Doug Graham back in the day. Paul Neeson, just read Paul's books. The best one to read is called The Raw Life, and that gives a clear indication of where Paul Neeson's gone wrong on his raw journey. Why? Because he quotes Hilton Hertima. He says you shouldn't eat too much fruit. You know, overeating's emotional needs, and you can't eat too much fruit, and just cut back and head towards breatharianism. Read Hilton Hertima's books, Paul says. And with that sort of mindset, the anorexic sort of mindset, can't eat food. Food is the enemy. I'm trapped in a cage. You know, I've got to get out of this food eating mindset. You're always going to go downhill. You're always going to go off the deep end, and you're going to bring your raw diet or your vegan diet or whatever diet you're following, going to bring that with you and go AWOL. But even if Paul did a raw vegan diet, even if he did, he would have done a wrong one, a high-fat version, a fruit-phobic one, you know, just deficient. I mean, if you look at Paul, he was pretty fit before he started the journey, and he's pretty sedentary now. He's not a very fit individual. So when someone loses fitness on a dietary plan, on a really, really healthy dietary plan, which is what a raw vegan or even a vegan diet provides, you know they're doing something wrong. You know there's some sort of disordered eating or eating disorders underlying their behavior. And that's really sad. That's why we provide clarity on our website, 30bananasaday.com. I mean, we don't live the glamour lifestyle. You know, we're not into a lot of money. So we can just be straight up. You know, I can just tell you whatever, because I don't care if you buy our stuff or whatever, man. It's like, we've got enough cash. We always will have. So I can just be 100% truthful with you, just tell you how it is. I'm not going to bullshit to you. That's just how it is. I mean, close friends of Paul have said Paul's never been raw a year of his life. Paul claims he's been 100% raw vegan for 15 years. I don't know if you watch his videos, you can sort of debunk that pretty quick. Hey, that's, you know, no one has to be a raw vegan to be my friend, you know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you're going to take advice from people, perhaps, you know, ask them a few more questions, you know. Question what's encouraged, you know, and just because someone eats dead animals or eats cooked food doesn't make them a bad person, you know. I've never said that. So basically, eating more than a few pieces of fruit a day is unhealthy. I mean, you're obviously getting your calories from some other source, and that's fair enough, but it's always good to share with our audience what we are doing. Hey, I eat up to 70 bananas a day. I'm doing great. Keith is still there. It's all cool. All right, next question. 2, this is a funny one. You're going to fuck up on your fruitarian diet, and the fact that you take B12 supplements proves your diet is deficient. I won't read what else because the profanity. You know, first of all, I'm not a fruitarian. I do eat, you know, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and you know, occasionally some sprouts and stuff like that. So you know, I've never actually met someone who eats 100% fruit. I don't really think that's an optimum way. Why? Because what's wrong with celery or occasional bit of lettuce or, you know, a nut or seed, you know, if it's good quality now and then, I don't see that's a real issue there. So I think when someone goes fruitarian for purity reasons, then they're always going to undereat. They're going to like get all airy fairy and you know, just go off the deep end, and that's not really fun to see, as I've seen it happen to some of my, you know, fruit buddies. You take B12 subs because that proves your diet is deficient. Well, how can I answer that one? I mean, that's just like, I mean, I've been reading this book, the anabolic reference guy, because I just love reading about sports drugs, you know, being an elite cyclist, and just, there's guys in here that talk about steroids and stuff and how to do them properly. They talk about the importance of doing 4,000 micrograms of B12 a week. 4,000 micrograms, that's massive. And these guys talk about, you know, getting enough protein, eating enough meat, and they talk about getting enough B12 injections. So, I mean, go onto any mainstream bodybuilding forum. I'm not talking vegan bodybuilding forum. I'm talking like a mainstream redneck, eat your meat, drink your eggs and egg whites and all that stuff, bodybuilding forum, and type in B12 injections. You know, and they'll show you how to do it on the forum, a mainstream bodybuilding forum. I talk to my doctor friends, my nurse friends, and ask them, do you only test for B12 because of vegans? And they're like, that makes up a minority group. So that one's debunked. Question 3, your teeth will rot from all the fruit you eat, you skinny piece of crap. There you go. And people say, Haley, you're young. Okay, what about people like Don Weaver and Doug Graham and, the older people, Tim Trader and the gang, how come their teeth are still intact? I mean, it's like, hang on, your fruit rotted your teeth. These guys have been eating a lot of fruit for a long, long time. How come they've got teeth, Question 4, you're a fraud. There is no way you can ride that far without using drugs. You're scrawny and have no muscle. Get some meat, faggot. This is what I wake up to in the morning. It's like, hey, Durienrider, read this. Anyway, so I'm a fraud. There's no way you can ride that far without drugs. It's like, well, people who train with me know that I'm not on drugs. I'm not the fastest cyclist out there by any means, but I'm racing Div 1, racing A grade. I'm winning 24-hour mountain bike races. I'm not, a superstar, but, I'm pretty damn fit. I'll admit that. I'm pretty damn fit, and, I like to train with the best cyclists in Australia when I'm doing a hard workout, because they're the guys that, give me value for money for workouts, because chasing those guys down, I mean, these guys are just elite. So it's a great workout. But then they say I'm doing drugs, but then they say I'm scrawny and have no muscle, and it's like, hang on, if I can ride a bike, 400 watts up a climb, and I weigh 66 kilos and hold that, for 6 minutes, how am I doing that if I don't have any muscle? Sure, cyclists, I'm a, endurance cyclist, and I like running marathons, and you're not going to find really big guys doing that at my level, you know what I mean? You're just not going to find that. Okay, so next question, number 5. David Wolf says he only eats 2,000 calories a day, but he is fat. How come? Victoria Botenko eats just 100% raw fruit and veg, 80-10-10 style, and is obese. You say that it's impossible to get fat. You owe me $10,000, smiley face. The $10,000, I'll put out an offer. If someone can show me the fat fruit eater, I'll give him 10 grand. So I owed someone $10,000. Well, perhaps not. I mean, Dave Wolf, he's a cool guy, great dude, energetic speaker, I really like a lot of things Dave says, and I don't agree with most of it, but Dave's got some gifts, man, and can't deny that. So Dave says he only eats 2,000 calories a day, but he's fat. How come? Well, Dave's obviously eating more than 2,000 calories a day, because you're not going to be this, Dave's body size on 2,000 calories a day, and Dave's got a bit of strength behind him, and he's got a bit of fat behind him, but it's, you're not going to maintain that at 2,000 calories a day. 2,000 calories a day, and if you're a man, you're going to be looking anorexic. So people are obviously eating other things, and that's fine. Doesn't make them bad people, but can be confusing, I understand. So Victoria Botenko, why is she obese? Just eats 100% raw fruits and vegetables. Well, Victoria's a lovely soul. Definitely helped me a lot in my journey. But I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not going to maintain that weight eating just fruits and vegetables and nothing else. Doesn't even matter if you're eating cooked potatoes or rice. You're still not going to maintain that size. That's so. Yeah, well, I think I'll leave it there. Question 6. What is better, a high-fat raw diet or a low-fat cooked vegan diet? That's what I've written. What is better? I mean, is that a long-term question, or is that in the moment? Long-term, definitely going to be better on a low-fat cooked vegan diet than a high-fat, raw diet. Why? Because you're going to have less fat in your blood. You're going to get more carbohydrates to your brain. You're going to have better glycogen reserves. But in the moment, yeah, you just have a high-fat diet, for an afternoon or something, that's okay. But when you're doing it day in, day out, then you might survive out of discipline, but eventually you'll hit a wall and you just be not feeling the best. So I'd recommend, definitely a low-fat cooked vegan diet any day versus, a long-term high-fat raw diet. And that's what we see. People go on this raw food thing and they just, cut back on the fruit, get hungry, and just eat heaps of nuts. And nuts are fine. The seeds are great, perfect. But when you try and eat them, as your main calorie source, that's when the problems start. If raw's not our goal, that's great. Eat enough rice, pasta, beans, millet, quinoa, barley, all those, whole food, vegan carbohydrate sources, man. Get enough of them in you. Whatever diet you're going to follow, get your carbs in, man. Because once you cut your carbs, doesn't matter what diet you follow, what guru you follow, what your religion, blood type, all that stuff, you're gonna go, You're going to flop, and you're going to get hungry and eat less than optimum foods.